Okay. This is your soul brother Talib coming at you. Um, as you best know me from the platform of Reality Temple Ministries, aka Operation Exodus Mississippi. Um, I like to talk about something this evening. You know, right now, in the midst of all this protesting and even rioting of unrest going on due to racist police brutality, and of course, in memory of George Floyd, a black man who got murdered, you know, by police in Minneapolis a few days ago. I must say that, you know, it's time for a black militia. I mean, everybody else has had a militia in this country or some type of form of militia going throughout the history of this country. And it's time for a black militia, you know, because, I mean, right now it seems like, you know, far as the option for violence go, that's the only recourse left on the table. I mean, peaceful protests, peaceful marching, and trying to, do things out of diplomacy in a peaceful manner, far as on the behalf of black people, black and brown people in this country, has not simply worked. You know, since the inception of this nation, whose constitution and amendments are all geared toward, you know, as they say, we the people, far as in favor of Caucasians, who are the majority here in the United States of America. And of course, the Constitution has never applied to black people, nor equally has it applied to black people, nor was it designed to apply to black people. So this is why we keep hearing about the George Floyds. This is why we keep hearing about the Michael Browns, the Trayvon Martins, and the list goes on, you know. And because, you know, many black people, you know, especially that are in comfortable positions, whether it's politics or, you know, celebrity status, having, you know, millions or billions, like Oprah Winfrey and Bill Cosby and Michael Jordan, and the list goes on, you know. And also because of other affordabilities that have allowed black people to be content and complacent in their slave-like condition in this country, which has been going on over 400 years now, going on 500 years, is why we keep on getting constantly brutalized in the streets by racist cops and by racists in general. And even during these protests across the country, we've been hearing about people getting shot or fatally shot during protests, which didn't even involve the police, you know, and stuff like that. And, you know, from my understanding, I just got word locally here where I'm at in Nebraska that a black man had just got shot fatally by a Caucasian in Omaha, which is an hour away from where I'm at. And it was a non-police related shooting. And my understanding is that they arrested this Caucasian that killed the black person who was a protester and who was just minding his business, just trying to protest in peace. And they ended up letting the Caucasian go, you know. And so, and it was because well, the justification behind it was that the Caucasian was trying to protect he was a bar owner and he was trying to protect his place of business from rioting and looting, okay? And he pulled out a gun and the black protester got involved from what I heard and, was trying to de-escalate the situation. And he ended up himself getting fatally shot. And like I said, somehow after they arrested the shooter, they just let him go. From my understanding was that people who supported him, created a GoFundMe account for him. And so I guess that's how he was released. I guess on bond or whatever the situation was. But, I mean, of course, had that been a black man that fatally shot a white man like that, it wouldn't have been that simply easily, for a black man to get out of jail that fast. Of course, as we know, as, dark-skinned descendants of slaves born in America, when it comes to the inequality of justice for so-called black and white in this country, But like I said before, it's coming to the point now. And like I said, I'm not an advocate of violence by any means. But if that's the only last recourse that we have to get our point across, that we are tired of being brutalized and having to live in fear every day just because of the color of our skin, then, oh well, so be it, And this is one reason why the Mississippi campaign, that our platform has proposed over the last couple of years, to the public on social media as far as black people are concerned, is so important and necessary, because it contains, the idea alone with us creating our own militia that will protect us from such, brutal, horrific oppression, and like we saw that took place in Minneapolis, Minnesota the other day, when that white cop had his knee down on the brother's neck, just choking the life out of him, and of course, because he didn't get arrested right away, right before he finally did, and because the other 3 cops that was involved did not get arrested at all still up to this point, is why we got this rioting and protesting unrest going on because of this situation, and this happens every time when, a black man or black woman or black child that's being victimized any kind of way by the system constantly keeps getting denied justice, so, and this is what's going to keep happening. And this situation here is a powder keg, like me and someone talked about, which was already waiting to explode, especially being with this country being in the middle of a health pandemic. And then, you have 40 some million people without jobs. So this is all it takes to further ignite the fire, you know, that's been burning anyway. And I mean, it's like, I mean, what do the status quo that's ruling in this country expect, you know? And so, this is what's going to continue on happening, and this is what's going to get worse as we move along with this situation, And the situation also is that with this going on right now is that we're going to our people is going to have to organize, in the right proper way and, put our foot down, and, because these politicians ain't really interested in doing nothing to help us to end our oppressive situation, nor our slave-like condition situation as a people in this country. I mean, we forgot, unquote black president not too long ago told us to pick our own selves up by our bootstraps, So, I mean, what purpose does it serve for us to even depend on these black politicians around the country? When you got even people like Mayor Keisha Bottoms of Atlanta telling black people that they are disgracing the legacy of Martin Luther King Jr. because of the riot and unrest that was going on in that city in Atlanta, Well, first of all, if Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy was so great, because he stood for peace, then why is he dead? Why is people like Medgar Evers dead? Those other civil rights activists, that were killed in Mississippi during the time of the Mississippi burnings, why are they dead? If peaceful protest is so great of a legacy. I mean, so like I said before, as long as we got people that we look to for leadership that have got their priorities, backwards and mixed up, it's a clear sign that the people cannot depend on that, to get us finally to where we need to be as far as true freedom that we have really never known as a people in this country. And like I say, unfortunately, at this point, it's come to, the only option as far as violence being on the table is the only recourse, to go as far as the only recourse route being concerned. It's the only recourse route to go at this point because everything we've tried simply hasn't worked, and we've been a peaceful people when it comes to dealing with all this mayhem for over the last 300 some years or 400 some years, and it just ain't worked. Black people are peacefully been trying to tell, the racists in this country since some say 1619 or whatever to stop killing us. And that just ain't simply been working like that, So, I mean, what else or what other recourse do we have at this point, And like I said, if violence is the only option left on the table, which it is, obviously, then, hey, that's the only way that we're going to have to take in order to, make our cause be heard and respected finally, And like I said, I'm not an advocate of violence whatsoever but when it comes to self-defense, in terms of protecting our own existence as a people, far as men, women, and children go, as a group of people, then that's the only recourse we have. Then we should take the initiative to carry out that course of action. That's all I'm saying, you know. And I mean, you know, the Black Panthers almost had it right, but they were incompetent because obviously the way they did it, you know, wasn't the complete competent way to do it. But they were on to something, you know, and you know, and that way I give credit to where it's due, but they still wasn't fully competent, which is why they didn't succeed. But if we do it differently, you know, this time around, then, you know, with more competency involved, we could be successful in obtaining our true liberation as a people in this country. And because, like I said, all these government officials, whether in the state or local municipality or on the national level, is just not going to bend and just hand us our freedom. We got to take it. And that's just the bottom line to that. This is all of what's indicating that, as far as what we see that's going on around the country. It's just a clear indicator to prove and show that. That's what it's going to have to take for us to put an end to all this, you know, corruption of racist police brutality, gerrymandering, racial profiling, you know, unequal mass incarceration, you know, and all this other stuff that's continuously plaguing us as black people in America, you know. And I mean, you know, we've tried, like I say, many other ways, including with the marching and peaceful protesting and all that, which just simply has not worked alone. You know, because if it did, we wouldn't even be having this conversation in social media, you know, period. And I mean, you know, at the end of the day, you get these other leaders and people that obviously really don't truly speak for the black community, as they call it, you know, trying to tell us that we're wrong for getting out of here, burning up property and stuff, you know. But then when lives are being lost constantly, and a lot of times for nothing, and I'm talking about black life being lost in this equation of things, you know, for little or nothing, then these same people like Keisha Bottoms is not, you know, going to jump up and get in front of a TV camera and say the things that they say, you know, unless it's unrest like rioting going on, where white folks, mostly property is being damaged, you know, because obviously this is saying again, in society that property values over life more. You see what I'm saying? Property is put before black life more so than anything else. That's what all that's saying. And I mean, you know, at the end of the day, you know, we have to understand that black life is more valuable than this property that's being burnt down or being looted. Okay? And that's just the bottom line to that. And in order for us to change our reality from where it's at in this country as black people, is that we got to fight. We got to either fight or die. Simple as that. And I mean, it ain't no more simpler way than to put that at this point. I mean, in the last few years, and we ain't even got to go no further back before 2014. Just look at all the killings that's happened just since then, starting from Michael Brown, including Trayvon Martin that came before him, and see how many of those killings of unarmed black people have been solved legally through peaceful protest. I mean, I'm just throwing something out there just to give you something to think about to those that will be listening to this video, And, peaceful protesting, voting, especially for those, like I say, that don't have our people's best interests anyway, is an indicator that violence is the only best option that's left on the table. I mean, I hate to say that, but that's the reality of it. I mean, and I mean, what is it going to take? And that this is the reactions of the people is showing that. I mean, yes, it's reactionary, but I mean, what other recourse do we have left at this point? I mean, a couple of years ago, Colin Kaepernick kneeled in peace over, black people getting shot like dogs in the streets of America. And look what happened. Look how that panned out. It destroyed his career and livelihood, you see. So, I mean, it's obviously trying to do it in a peaceful manner or through peaceful dialogues solution. It seemed to make us look more like punks and cowards as opposed to carrying out a solution towards us being free of all this violent siege that we are suffering as a people, through violence. So I mean, it's going to have to just take what it's going to have to take, like I said. And it's through violent reprieve, for self-defense, as the Black Panthers would say, through the forming of self-defense, then that's what it's going to have to take. And nothing else more. That's what it's going to have to take. Because, I mean, ain't nothing obviously going to get done by this system, which is designed to oppress in as far as to keep using repressive measures to keep us, as they say, in the N-word's place, like it's always been through our history as a people in this country, going back to slavery as well, of course, and with the thing as far as police brutality, which started as far as keeping the N-word in our place. That's where the start of the police began at. The formation of the police began at. And this is you know, far as through, the coordination of violent defense is what's going to have to end it, you know? And I don't know no more else of what to say in that regard from what we see right now or what's taking place even at this moment throughout the country. And I mean, this is what it's going to have to take. You know, my fellow dark-skinned slave descendants born in America, and for those of you who wish otherwise to help us in this plight, to make a complete turnaround difference for once and for all. And with that said, you know, hey, like someone else would say, no more talk.